There is a quiet wisdom in the Amish way of life, and nowhere is this more apparent than in their gardens. These plots are often lush, productive, and remarkably free from the pests that plague so many of us. You might wonder what powerful chemicals they use to achieve such results, but the secret is quite the opposite. The Amish approach to gardening is not about fighting a war against nature with sprays and poisons. Instead, it is about creating a balanced, healthy environment where plants can thrive and largely defend themselves. It is a philosophy built on prevention rather than cure, working in harmony with the natural world rather than against it. This method understands that a healthy garden is a resilient one. The difference between this gentle approach and conventional chemical-heavy gardening is profound. Modern pest control often relies on a cycle of spraying, which can kill beneficial insects just as easily as the pests. This creates an imbalance, leaving your garden even more vulnerable when the next wave of aphids or cabbage moths arrives. The Amish way, however, sees the garden as a complete ecosystem. It acknowledges that a few pests are a natural part of the system, but a full-blown infestation is a sign that something is out of balance. The goal, therefore, is not to eradicate every single bug, but to create a garden so robust and well-managed that pests never get the upper hand. This philosophy is incredibly empowering for the home gardener. It means you do not need an arsenal of expensive and often harmful chemicals to succeed. What you need is observation, patience, and a willingness to nurture your garden from the ground up. It's a return to basics, focusing on the fundamental principles of good horticulture that have been passed down through generations. By focusing on the health of the soil, the cleanliness of the beds, and the clever placement of plants, you are building a fortress for your vegetables. It is a proactive and deeply rewarding way to garden, connecting you more closely to the land and the food you grow. So, let us put away the sprayer for a moment and delve into these time-honored techniques. This guide will walk you through the simple, practical steps that form the backbone of the Amish pest control strategy. From building life-giving compost to planting helpful companions, each step is a piece of a larger puzzle. When you put them all together, you will find that you are spending less time fighting pests and more time enjoying the bountiful, healthy harvest that a truly balanced garden can provide. It is a journey well worth taking for the health of your plants, your family, and the little patch of earth you tend. Everything in the garden begins and ends with the soil. It is not simply dirt, it is a living, breathing community of microorganisms, fungi and earthworms, all working together to break down organic matter and feed your plants. The Amish understand this better than anyone. Their first and most important step in pest prevention is to build incredibly healthy, nutrient-rich soil. Plants grown in poor, depleted soil are weak and stressed, and just like any living thing under stress, they become susceptible to disease and attack. Strong plants nourished by vibrant soil are naturally more resilient and less appealing to pests. They are simply too vigorous for pests to easily overwhelm. The cornerstone of building this wonderful soil is compost. Making your own compost is one of the most satisfying tasks a gardener can undertake. It is the simple act of turning kitchen scraps, garden clippings, and other organic waste into what we call black gold. To start, you need a simple bin, or even just a pile. Layer your greens, nitrogen-rich materials like vegetable peels, grass clippings, and coffee grounds, with your browns, carbon-rich materials like dried leaves, cardboard, and straw. Keep the pile moist like a wrung-out sponge, and turn it every week or two with a garden fork to introduce air. In time, this mixture will transform into a dark, crumbly, and sweet-smelling compost teeming with life. Once your compost is ready, you can take its benefits a step further by making compost tea. This is a liquid fertilizer that delivers nutrients and beneficial microbes directly to your plant's roots and leaves. It is wonderfully simple to make. Just take a good shovelful of your finished compost, place it in a porous sack like an old pillowcase, and suspend it in a large bucket of water for a day or two. Give it a stir every now and then. The water will become a rich, brown liquid full of the goodness of your compost. You can then dilute this tea until it is the color of weak black tea and use it to water your plants every couple of weeks. Applying this goodness to your garden is the final step in creating your foundation. Each season before you plant, you should work a generous layer of your finished compost into the top few inches of your garden beds. This enriches the soil, improves its structure, and feeds the microbial life that will, in turn, feed your plants throughout the growing season. This single act of adding compost does more to prevent pests than any chemical ever could. It is the ultimate preventative medicine for the garden, ensuring your plants have everything they need to grow strong, healthy, and naturally resistant to attack. Once you have established your healthy soil, the next principle is one of simple diligence. Keeping the garden clean. The Amish are meticulous in their garden maintenance, and for good reason. Piles of dead leaves, fallen fruit and weeds provide the perfect hiding places and breeding grounds for a whole host of garden pests. Slugs and snails love to shelter in damp, dark debris during the day. Many insects lay their eggs on decaying plant matter, ensuring their young have a food source when they hatch. By maintaining a tidy garden, you are actively removing these habitats and disrupting the life cycle of pests before they can become a problem. This practice of garden hygiene should become a daily, or at the very least, a weekly habit. Take a few minutes each time you are in the garden to perform a quick tidy-up. Pull any weeds you see as soon as they appear. Weeds not only compete with your vegetables for water and nutrients, but they can also act as host plants for pests and diseases that can later spread to your crops. Similarly, remove any yellowing or diseased leaves from your plants immediately. This prevents the spread of fungal diseases like blight or mildew, and also removes potential food for leaf-munching insects. It is a small, constant effort that pays enormous dividends. It is also vital to be vigilant about clearing away finished plants. Once a plant, such as a lettuce or a pea vine, has finished producing, remove it from the garden bed entirely. Do not leave it to rot in place. Old brassica stalks, for example, can harbour the pupae of cabbage root flies, which will emerge the following season to attack your new seedlings. Add healthy-looking plant debris to your compost pile, but be sure to discard or burn anything that shows signs of serious disease or infestation. This prevents you from inadvertently reintroducing the problem back into your garden with your finished compost. This principle of cleanliness extends to the paths and areas around your garden beds as well. Keep pathways clear of weeds and debris. If you have a lawn bordering your garden, keep it mown. Tall, unkempt grass right next to your vegetable patch is a perfect refuge for slugs, snails, and other pests, which will venture into your beds at night to feed. By creating a clean, open, and well-maintained space, you make your garden a far less inviting place for pests. It sends a clear signal that this is a tended, cared-for space, not a neglected wilderness where they can thrive unchecked. The Amish garden is not a monoculture with lonely rows of a single crop. Instead, it is a bustling community where different plants work together to support and protect one another. This practice, known as companion planting, is a powerful tool in a natural pest control system. The idea is that certain plants, when grown near each other, can help to deter pests, attract beneficial insects, or improve the growth of their neighbors. It is a brilliant strategy that uses the natural properties of plants to create a self-defending system. By interspersing your vegetables with specific herbs and flowers, you can confuse and repel many common garden pests. 3 of the most reliable and widely used companion plants are basil, garlic, and marigolds. Basil is a fantastic companion for tomato plants. Its strong, pungent scent is thought to mask the smell of the tomatoes, making it harder for pests like the tomato hornworm to find them. Some gardeners even say that planting basil nearby improves the flavor of the tomatoes themselves. A simple way to use it is to plant a basil seedling in between every 2 or 3 tomato plants in a row. Not only does it offer protection, but it also provides you with a convenient and delicious harvest of fresh herbs. Garlic is another powerhouse in the companion planting world. Its strong sulfuric compounds are a deterrent to a wide range of pests, including aphids, carrot root fly, and even some browsing animals like rabbits. You can plant cloves of garlic throughout your garden, tucking them in near susceptible crops like lettuce, carrots, and roses. A border of garlic plants around a bed of carrots can help to confuse the low-flying carrot root fly. Similarly, a few garlic plants scattered amongst your lettuces can help to keep aphid populations down, ensuring your leaves stay clean and healthy. Finally, no companion planting scheme is complete without the cheerful, hard-working marigold. Specifically, the French marigold, or Tagetes patula, releases a chemical from its roots that is toxic to root knot nematodes, those microscopic worms that can cause devastating damage to the roots of tomatoes, peppers, and many other vegetables. Planting a dense border of marigolds around your vegetable beds acts as a protective barrier. Above ground, their strong scent also deters pests like whiteflies and cabbage moths. They are easy to grow from seed, add a wonderful splash of color, and work tirelessly all season long to protect your precious crops. Even in the most well-managed garden, there will be times when pests make an appearance. For soft-bodied insects like aphids, mites, and thrips, the Amish turn to a simple, homemade, and powerfully effective garlic spray. This spray does not poison the pests in the way a chemical insecticide does. Instead, its intensely pungent and spicy nature acts as a strong repellent and irritant, encouraging them to leave your plants alone. It is easy to make and uses ingredients you likely already have in your kitchen, making it a safe and economical solution for occasional outbreaks. It is a targeted response, not a broad attack on your garden's ecosystem. To make the traditional Amish garlic spray, you will need 1 or 2 whole bulbs of garlic and a couple of hot peppers, like cayenne or jalapeno. Mince the garlic and peppers as finely as you can, or blend them with a little water to form a rough paste. Place this mixture into a liter of water and let it steep covered for at least 24 hours to allow the potent compounds to infuse into the liquid. After steeping, strain the mixture through a fine cloth or coffee filter to remove all the solid bits which could clog your sprayer. Add a single drop of natural liquid soap to the strained liquid. This acts as a surfactant, helping the spray stick to the plant leaves. When you spot an aphid colony on your roses or mites on your beans, it is time to use your spray. It is best to apply it in the early morning or late evening, as spraying in the direct sun can cause the leaves to scorch. Using a simple hand sprayer, thoroughly coat the affected plants, making sure to spray the undersides of the leaves where many pests like to hide. You may need to reapply the spray every few days, especially after rain, until the pest problem is under control. This garlic spray is a perfect example of the Amish approach, gentle, targeted, and working with nature's own potent defenses. Alongside direct interventions like the garlic spray, the Amish practice a long-term strategy of confusion known as crop rotation. Pests and diseases are often specific to certain plant families. If you plant the same crop in the same spot year after year, you are essentially creating a permanent home and food source for its enemies. Crop rotation simply means moving your plant families to a different section of the garden each year. A simple 4-year rotation for a small garden might involve dividing your space into 4 beds, one for brassicas, like cabbage and broccoli, one for legumes, like beans and peas, one for alliums, such as onions and garlic, and one for solanums, like tomatoes and potatoes. Each year, you move each family 1 bed over, confusing the pests and preventing disease buildup in the soil. The final layer of protection in the Amish gardening system is a thick blanket of natural mulch. Mulching is the simple act of covering the bare soil around your plants with a layer of organic material. This practice is incredibly beneficial and serves multiple purposes in creating a healthy, pest-resistant garden. First and foremost, a good mulch suppresses weeds by blocking sunlight, preventing them from germinating This saves you an immense amount of work and eliminates the competition that can weaken your vegetable plants. A weed-free garden is already a healthier and less pest-friendly garden from the start. Beyond weed control, mulch acts as a physical barrier. A thick layer of straw or wood chips can make it difficult for ground-dwelling pests to reach your plants. Slugs and snails, for instance, are often deterred by the rough, dry texture of certain mulches. It also prevents soil-borne diseases from splashing up onto the lower leaves of your plants during heavy rain. This is particularly effective in preventing early blight on tomatoes. The mulch essentially creates a clean buffer zone between the soil, which can harbor fungal spores, and the vulnerable foliage of your plants, keeping them healthier for longer. Perhaps most importantly, a natural mulch helps to regulate the soil environment, which reduces plant stress. It insulates the soil, keeping it cooler in the summer and warmer in the spring and autumn, protecting plant roots from extreme temperature swings. It also conserves moisture by reducing evaporation, meaning you need to water less often. This consistent moisture level is crucial for plant health. Plants that are stressed by drought are far more attractive to pests like spider mites. By maintaining stable conditions, mulch helps your plants remain strong, vigorous, and better able to fend for themselves. To apply mulch correctly, wait until the soil has warmed up in the spring and your seedlings are well established. Then lay down a layer of organic material, such as straw, shredded leaves, grass clippings, or wood chips, to a depth of about 3 to 4 inches. Be sure to leave a small, clear circle right around the stem of each plant to prevent rot. As the season progresses, this mulch will slowly break down, adding valuable organic matter to your soil and feeding the earthworms and microbes below. In this way, mulching ties everything together, protecting your plants, improving your soil, and completing the cycle of creating a garden that, in its own quiet and natural way, defends itself.